Hey everybody, welcome to day 5 of the 40-day challenge, Take Back Your Life. 40 days to thinking right so you can live right.
Look at you.
Man, I only had to glance down at the book once.
That's awesome.
That was after you turned the cover, so I thought I had it. So
You did have it.
I did have it. Good job.
You remember last year on the Broken Beautifully Blended video challenge?
Yeah.
How long it took for you to be able to say that all in one take?
Yeah, that was a long deal.
You're doing awesome.
But I made that title up. I don't even remember what it was now.
It was a tongue twister, apparently.
What was it? 90-day video challenge. Stepping into 2020 on the right foot.
Oh, look at you.
We stepped into 2020 on the right foot, and 2020 said, I don't think so. So, anyway, we're going to finish 2020 thinking better than we did when we started 2020, because we're going to take our life back from the things that hold us back from doing what God's called us to do. Today, day 5, is titled, If You Say So. This is a big one for us. April and I have battled with this, the way we speak, and then April's done much better over the last several years with how she talks to herself. I'm learning how to talk better about myself. And then, our kids, they struggle with this.
Well, and let's be clear, we struggled with it because at the very beginning, you thought it was just woo-woo, oh, whatever. And that's kind of what stuck with the kids, too. And they've had to watch him come along for them to start going, okay, I get it. I guess it's not woo-woo.
There's a lot of truth in the way that you speak about yourself. And the thing that's interesting about it is as you start, it feels very odd. Mm-hmm. You're like, this can't make any difference. It feels very uncomfortable. It feels unnatural, at least to me, to speak positivity to yourself. I mean, it's one thing to encourage somebody else and talk about how your friends are good and you see good in other people. It's another thing completely to say it to yourself.
I would agree with that totally until you actually start to believe yourself. Because once you start to believe yourself and then you're encouraging other people, it makes them feel it on a different level. Like whenever you don't believe it about yourself, whenever you can't speak positively to yourself and then you're saying it to somebody else, they know you. They know what goes on in your head because they can see it all over your face, all over your body language. And they're going, you don't even talk nice to yourself. What do you want from me? What is it that you're trying to get? What's the angle you're trying to go after? Mm-hmm. And then once you start being more positive and what was it, 2 weeks ago, Pastor said that it was the Pacific Ocean, but he was doing the wordplay,
the
pessimistic
ocean, pessimistic emotion.
Yep. And once you get past that and you start to, you don't even have to say the glass is half full. You can just say I have a glass and there's liquid in it. And that's not negative. It's more neutral. And then you start saying it's half full. I'm going to fill it up. It's not half empty. So
what's interesting is as you begin to examine how you speak about yourself on a regular basis, you begin to see how negative it becomes. I remember you got a shirt from some real estate thing that she was doing, and it's the slogan was, what you focus on expands.
And they put it right here, which is terrible. Terrible.
I thought it was pretty good.
I don't think it's awesome.
But, it's true. What we focus on expands, and that's true in all aspects of life. Whether it's your job, what you focus on is going to expand there. How you deal with your spouse, that's what's going to expand there. How you deal with your kids, that's what's going to expand. The things that we want to see and the things that we speak over what we want to see is what we will see, even unintentionally.
Yeah. And the biggest one that you didn't mention there is what you speak over your own head, whatever it is that you're talking to. I know that we talk about in the book today Are you speaking to yourself more? Are you listening to yourself? And I think the difference in speaking and listening is actively putting in the words that you want to be there. Listening is just that internal monologue that goes on that will go whichever way you're bent. It'll either go negative or positive. And whenever you think about it, you listen to and you speak to yourself more than you'll ever speak to anybody else. You have all of these thoughts going on in your head that you'll never say out loud, that you'll never have a conversation with somebody else about. And so you have to figure out how to say what it is that you want to say.
I'm way more comfortable listening to myself than I am speaking to myself. One of the things that Pastor Levi said in the book today is that there's two things. If you're going to take back your life, you're going to have to fight for it. So you're going to have to battle through that uncomfortable time where speaking life over yourself is not the norm. You're going to have to work to get to a place where you can say, you know what, I do have the ability to finish this job. I do have the ability to be a good husband. I do have the ability to parent these kids. Because quite honestly, God wouldn't have given you the spouse you have, the job you have, the kids you have, if you didn't have what it takes to do it right. And the second part is, he says it's time to fire yourself as your personal critic and rehire yourself as your personal coach. And as a coach, that's part of what you do, right?
Absolutely it is. We start to focus on first what's there, and then next, what do we want to be there, and how do we switch what is there for what we want to be there.
And one of the things that Pastor Levi talked about today was the fact that he has a certain routine with physical pieces that he uses in order to get himself mentally prepared. So I think he said that he puts on some glasses that are non-prescription. He has a candle that he burns whenever he's trying to do something specific. And he starts his day with coffee, right, before he gets on and rewards himself with any sort of social media or something like that. So we need to try and develop some sort of habit. It doesn't have to be exactly what Pastor Levi did, but we do have to develop a habit. Now, for me, I think whenever I first started to make a transformation in my life, I made sure that I got up and I came downstairs and I made some coffee. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, and people talk about black coffee, and that makes me nauseous just thinking about it. But if you put enough creamer in it, you can choke it down. So I fix coffee, I put creamer in it, and it helps to wake me up enough to be able to focus on spending some time with the Lord before I do anything else in my day. And I've done that for about 5 years now, and it makes a huge, huge difference in how my day starts and the way that I focus throughout the day whenever I get up and I'm intentional about those physical steps in order to get to a place where I can speak positive, started to say that wrong, positive thoughts over my day, over my abilities, and over my life.
Yeah, and you've been, probably about the last 2 years or so, have been very intentional about coming up. And it used to, I don't know if it scared him, it was not his favorite thing to do, but to wake me up because...
Let's be clear. It only scared me because it was true.
And once he got over that fear, he had enough, he had enough courage to come up and say, okay, we're going to pray together before I leave. So we've prayed in the mornings.
The people expect us to be truthful as we're doing this.
What?
You made a choice to get up.
I did once we talked about it, and you said this is important for us to pray together, and I said, okay, then we can do that. And you said,
there wasn't any getting
I'm
over
a little
being
bit
afraid
worried
of it
about waking you up because you're pretty hateful in the morning.
You guys have seen The Exorcist when that person's head spins around? That's what used to happen to her in the mornings.
And now you know specifically I have to get up and I have to, just like you, I have to do my Bible study. And you have tried a couple of times to come in and just be like, okay, we're going to do this. And you're like, what's your deal? And I'm like, I haven't even got to get in the Word yet. You're right here. Yeah,
mornings are not her thing. But I will say this publicly for the benefit of all of you watching and her dad that had to live through trying to wake her up as a young woman. She does do very, 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 very much better. Very, very much better. She does. It's not. There's really. It's such a huge transformation. It's hard to describe, but she does so much better about getting up, and that's one of those things. I mean, it takes effort. So, you got to be willing to put in the time and to do it repetitiously enough that it becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm. And truthfully, once it becomes a habit, you don't even really have to even worry. It's just what you do. And we know that you're aware of that because your bad habits, the things that you want to change, you don't even think about doing them anymore. It's just what you do. We're here to tell you that in a very short amount of time, being intentional, you can start doing the things that you do want to do. They always talk about that you can never really unlearn something, but you can replace it. So we're here to tell you that it is one step at a time, one day at a time, going just like we talked about yesterday. It is success is not the immediate goal, obedience is. So just one step at a time, and before you know it, those habits have changed because you've replaced them.
The way that we speak, again, makes a huge difference. So our words can unlock a life we love or a life that we loathe. So your words are important. They may not seem like it. We used to say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. When we say those things over ourselves, that is absolutely not true. Our words will set us on a course for what it is that we're headed towards.
And God started that way back whenever he had Adam to name all of the animals. So he started with letting us know that our words were very powerful. So are you going to read the verse for today?
Genesis 2:19. Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. And that's from the beginning. God gave man, humans, the ability to speak with power. So let me encourage you, as we continue through this, there's some great questions at the end of today, just like there has been the others. Make sure you write them in your journal. But let me encourage you to speak positively over your life. Set yourself on a course for success and not a course for failure.
Absolutely. And I will say, whenever Rocker was talking about his morning routine, in your questions for today, one of the things that it asks you is what small physical thing can you do? One of the things that I would suggest to you, if you're having a hard time thinking of something that helped whenever I was doing this, was you can have a bracelet or a rubber band or anything that is easy to take off from one wrist and put it onto the other. So whenever you catch yourself speaking negativity, you're going to take that bracelet off of that wrist and you're going to put it on the other wrist and you're going to say something positive. So it is reinforcing that positive, and it starts to help you become aware of how many times you're replacing that thought.
That's a good tip. So that's day 5. Today is also Thanksgiving here in America. So let me say to all of you, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you were able to spend at least a little time with some family. I know that with the COVID restrictions, it's been a little hard, but let me just say happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for all of you that come and join us, and I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for the way that she listens to God's call and is willing to step out in faith. So happy Thanksgiving, honey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, we will be back here tomorrow, but it's typically called Black Friday.
That is something I'm glad we're not going to have to go out and scramble through.
So, enjoy the day. Spend the day with family. If you're not with them in person, give them a call. Give them FaceTime, whatever it is you use. Just make sure you make contact with them. Let them know that you're thankful for them. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll be back here tomorrow for day 6. Have a great day and happy Thanksgiving.